Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Hello, people, and welcome to Footy Judgmo. Listen, brilliant weekend of football, of course. Arsenal smashing Nottingham Forest, City smashing Man United, of course. Leeds losing, relegation battle with Manchester United starting. Chelsea got robbed, and Gyokeres scoring again with genes, of course, as they say. He's always with genes, playing with genes, of course. Arsenal cannot get a break. Liverpool get away with one, with the penalty. A lot of Liverpool fans saying deserved win. Well, you can say this, you can say that, but listen, Liverpool didn't play well for the first 4 games, but Arsenal deserves some respect. Chelsea as well. Maresca fixed it in the second half, but he was robbed. I'm here with a fantastic panel, so hit that like button, guys, if you're here now, and if you're watching this on the replay, make sure to hit that like button. We got Topes, of course, ripping Arsenal. Joe with Leeds and his supporting Arsenal as well. Dan with Chelsea, he's back. Rich, Man United, Arteta fan, of course. And Ben, of course, is here from Middle Alive, Anfield Index, and all the stuff that is happening, of course. His first time on the channel. Ben, welcome. First time on the channel.
Yeah, cheers for having me on, mate. I've been saying I'd come on a few times, but I've been a little bit busy travelling around with the Reds, but thanks for having me on.
Yeah. How's everyone doing? Topes, good now? You trust Arsenal now?
Good win. Gyökeres scores again. Happy with the performance. Clean sheet. Can't really complain, man. On my way, I'm good.
Rich is sad. We met you yesterday, Rich, and
yeah, I know. I'm going to start doing streams on my own channel because people are just starting to argue with me because I'm trying to just give my honest opinion of what I think, and people don't like it. But I think you have to be realistic and say it's like we've gone beyond blaming one player every time. There's bigger problems which we can go into, I'm sure.
Dan, 8 points from 12. Not a bad start. It could have been better. Could have been 12. It should have been 12, to be honest with you. It should have been 12 points for Chelsea, of course. And Joe, how are you doing? How's Leeds doing? You staying still in the league? You confident?
Yeah, man. Yeah. Listen, we would have had 3 clean sheets out of 4. If it wasn't for this or that. Did you see the goal?
I didn't.
Well, there you go then. So it's a corner. And it just hits the defender's head and it loops up in over the goalie. Like it should have been 0-0. It was for 96 minutes. The issue we've got, mate, is creating chances. We haven't scored an open play goal in 4. It's a big worry. We haven't bought well enough in the final third. It's a big worry. If we're in and around it come January, I hope, just outside it, then we can go again. But yeah, we just need to score goals and I'm worried that we won't. But we've got Wolves next. So it's the perfect team to score goals against right now, so we'll see.
You know what is surprising about this league table is Aston Villa having 2 points after 4
They haven't scored a goal, have they, either?
They haven't. 0 goals and conceded 4. 0 goals. Aston Villa. Listen, I want to start actually with Chelsea. I want to start with today they speak about the offside. Today they speak about how Chelsea were robbed. Everyone wants to talk about the performance. I think the performance in the second half was better when Cole Palmer came on. But you cannot just deny that Chelsea were robbed. They should have been on 10 points. They should have been second on the table. But they were robbed. But no one wants to talk about this. But they talk about, to be honest with you, you talk about it when Arsenal, when something happens to Arsenal or Liverpool or other teams. But no one wants to talk about Chelsea being robbed in this game. Ouattara was offside. I don't know if you guys watched this. It's clear offside, interfering with Reece James. No, it's not from the throw-in. It's from the flick.
That's what I mean, but the throw-in, then a flick, then the goal.
So the flick, once the flick happens, Ouattara's offside and he's interfering with the play. And no one wants to talk about it. The reason why I'm on it, because if that happens to Arsenal, we stay a week talking about the referee. A week talking about the referee. But no one wants to talk about it. And I don't know why.
I'll tell you why. Because as a fan base, we hold ourselves and our club in a higher level than having to blame referees. We don't live and die by that. And that's the difference. Week in, week out, certain clubs look for excuses. But we don't. We will hold ourselves accountable.
But you played well in the second half.
Yeah, but that's the point, isn't it? Is that a football match is a game of two halves. And if you don't turn up in the first one, I don't think you can then have the thought process around, oh, we should have won that game. Because actually, I think if you split that game into two halves, Brentford probably are fair getting a point from that game. Even though it come in a way that probably was unjust in the end. They probably had opportunities in the first half to be in a better position than what they were. Obviously, a couple of good goals. I mean, Casado's goal was unbelievable, and I think that put Chelsea in a fortunate position. But if Maresca takes the gamble and the squad and the club take the gamble with certain players being there for rotation, not being good enough, then we deserve to be in that sort of position where we're fighting for those points against Brentford. But yeah, I agree. It is offside. A lot was made about the Fulham one that was actually a area.
You see this? We spent a week from the media talking about how Fulham were robbed against Chelsea.
Yeah, and it wasn't even a matter of fact. It was, you know, some people would say it's a foul, some people wouldn't.
I still think it's a foul.
I think if that was me, I would want my free kick.
I still think it's a foul.
And you know what? If that was me and I pulled off that skill and I'd caught someone and I looked at it back, I'd go, yeah, I can see why that was given. Whereas the offside one is pure matter of fact.
The
isn't
offside
it?
is the fact. It's not subjective.
Offside. I personally think, right? I mean, Jamie's not here today and he's been doing this show about VAR and how hit and miss it can be. But he's bang on to do that, because I think this season, ultimately, I don't think it's actually been spoken about enough, but I think the refs have been incredibly off it across the board. And I think VAR has had an awful start to the season. I think it's been shocking.
100% I agree with this. 100%. Chelsea should have been on 10 points. And also, I just want to tell you something. Stuart Atwell is probably one of the worst referees I've seen in my life. He likes to show that he has authority, but he doesn't. He called so many bad ones. Like, for example, there is a free kick for Gittins that should have been the other way, and he called it for Chelsea, and that should have been a free kick for Brentford. He called it for Chelsea because he didn't know what happened in the play. Listen, VARs are a shocker. About the Chelsea model, Gittins, Garnacho, to be honest with you, that tells me exactly 90 million pounds spent on these two players. Liverpool on Ekitiki spent 69 million pounds. Instead of buying these two, Chelsea could have bought a decent winger, a player that will come in and actually make the difference. With all due respect to Garnacho, with all due respect to Gittins, they aren't good enough to challenge for the title. And for the money you spend on these players, you should have had a team that is as comparable as Liverpool team or Arsenal team. But they aren't. And why is Fofana starting the game? Can someone tell me? Why is Fofana starting the game? Why?
Because Chelsea spent £80 million on him and view him probably as a decent enough defender to be starting in the game against Brentford. And it's an asset probably that they want to see either a return on in terms of performances on the pitch or someone's value go up in terms of him being sellable either in January or the end of the season. They don't want to obviously lose that money that's been spent on him. But I think on his day, I mean, we don't know because he's played so little football, but Fofana is a top centre-back. but I don't know whether or not that's a level he can get back to again. It almost feels like it's the same conversation we're having with, it was Reece James, it was Lavia as well. These are good players, but if they're only available, 1 in 10
Where
games,
is Lavia, by the way? Where is Lavia?
You tell me, because it's not. He's a good player and he is great, and we know how good he can be, and how influential he's been in the games that he's played for Chelsea in a small amount of time. But if he's not available, then I don't know if you can class that as a good signing or a player that's a valuable asset if they're not available. And I think Fofana ticks the same box.
Can I ask the rest of the panel? I said that Maresca is at fault in the first half because the tactics were wrong. He left Tosin on an island by himself. He was playing Hato in a position that I don't think Hato was useful in the game. I don't know what was Hato doing on the pitch. Is Maresca to take the blame for this game, or is it individual mistakes?
Do you know, I don't know how real this is. Maybe Dan could tell me. I was driving at the time, but I listened to it on TalkSport, and they were saying on there that the reason for Hato and others was due to the aerial threat of Brentford from set pieces and long throws. I believe that's what the decision was made to use these players. But I do think for me, it showed a level of naivety from Maresca. Obviously, last time they had a second string side to compete in the Conference League. Right now they're in the Champions League, so obviously it's different demands. Your squad gets more stretched because you're going to have to use some of your better players in midweek games. And I just think he's looked at Brentford and thought, yeah, this will be enough. I'm playing like Buonanotte, etc. I think the lineup was all wrong. Obviously you changed it, but by then you've already let Brentford get the momentum, get the confidence. Obviously, they go 1-0 up. I haven't even seen it back, but apparently Henderson played a blinder pass for Sharp.
Literally, it's like a little glimpse over his shoulder.
Yeah.
Ball comes to his feet, and he's played it straight away. It was unbelievable, and it was obviously something that Andrews has probably identified in Chelsea, is that's not the first time. It happened against Spurs as well this season, that we've been caught out. We've almost had a high line, and there's been a lot of isolation. I mean, Maresca's done it even since he was at Leicester. He'll leave those guys in vulnerable positions and hope that they can sort of deal with their one-on-one situations. But if they don't, and players like Tosin, I don't think thrive in that situation, and a ball over the top can catch a player out like him. And I think it did. And the last person I think you want running in behind, I don't think this guy gets enough credit, is Kevin Schade. He's absolutely rapid. He'll dust pretty much anyone in the league. He put double figures up last season as well. He kind of went under the radar a little bit for Brentford because of how good the other attackers were. But I think he'll get more credit this season. They were really good. And they probably deserved the point, as much as that went on and we made mistakes in terms of who played. And you know what? You can go further than saying it's Maresca's fault. Maresca has underestimated Brentford before. He probably isn't aware of, even though he should be, there probably isn't that much evidence on Brentford this season because it's a new manager and how they set up. And he's even come out himself, Andrews, and said that he's not afraid to have the dirty side of the game with the long throw-ins and unfashionable things that will get him points, because he understands how valuable they are. And maybe they were things that Chelsea didn't pick up on and the set-piece coach hasn't picked up on. But ultimately, at the same time, the recruitment has gone this summer and removed a number of players from Chelsea again, created an unsettled environment, and now we're in the same position that we were in terms of bedding in new players to see how long it takes. I do believe, I think Chelsea are stronger.
So I could see it from the other view. But we're looking at Son Garnacho with the idea to strengthen, but
I don't think Garnacho is the biggest talking point from this game, because he didn't start the game. He made 3 rotations to start players who weren't
Every single season we have a transfer window. Man United fans are frustrated because we don't buy a certain number of players. But Chelsea seem to move out a lot of players, bring in a lot of players. So every single season it feels like you're starting the season where you've got to try and integrate new players. So I always feel that Chelsea finished stronger. I don't ever feel that Chelsea start with like a settled team. But also you've got the issue. I don't know who you play in the Champions League midweek, but it's a different challenge, because effectively it's probably, if you can actually get through the group stage without having to do the playoffs, that saves you 2 matches. So maybe there's going to be one eye on the Champions League to start with and trying to start strong. So, the Conference League is like levels below the Champions League. So maybe it's going to be an indication, like I said, Brentford, I think people are sleeping on Brentford because they lost Wissa, they lost their goalkeeper, they lost Mbeumo, they lost the manager, I think they lost some backroom staff. So people are expecting Brentford to be dropping down massively. So maybe that's the expectation where you can rotate a few players. Chelsea still should have some quality on the bench to win the game, and maybe just taking it a little bit easy. But I think some managers, like a lot of managers that we've seen at our club, they underestimate the quality of the Premier League. It's not a level where it's not the league where you can rest a few key players and expect to win. Like, you've got to put your best team out and play well to get points in this league. And there's no cliche, but it's no easy games.
Can I ask a question to the Arsenal and Liverpool? Because we're assuming the Arsenal and Liverpool are the team that will challenge for the league along with City, right? We were talking about Chelsea in the beginning of the season as title contenders because they added João Pedro. Now Palmer is more experienced, Caicedo, Cucurella, and all the players that they have. Are Chelsea in contention for the league from your point of view at all?
No.
Not for me personally. I think there's two factors that go into it. I think number one, when you look at obviously how Chelsea performed last season, they got into the top 4. But when you look at obviously what they had in terms of who they were playing in midweek, they had a lot of Conference League games, which they were able to play 2 different squads, which is great. But when you're back in the Champions League, you have to play basically your best team every single game in terms of Champions League and in the league if you want to progress in both competitions. Maybe this time last season, maybe they would have even started a Cole Palmer if they knew they had like a Conference League in the week. But knowing they've got Bayern Munich away, the Man United away, they're kind of resting on their laurels and thinking, you know what, let's just save him for those midweek games where we really need him against top opposition. So I think that's always going to be a struggle to how Chelsea going to navigate, obviously playing those Champions League tough games and then having the kind of the same team ready to play in the kind of the Premier League. Have they got enough squad depth to kind of rotate on a regular basis to actually compete in both competitions? That's obviously remains to be seen. And then also you look at, again, you've got to go back to the defense and the goalkeeper in terms of are they at the level to consistently challenge for a league or a Champions League? When you look at the likes of Sanchez and obviously the defense, Colwell's going to be out for the season. Massive blow. He was a fantastic, obviously, defender for them as well. They've not replaced him in the transfer market. So when you look at those kind of variables and those kind of situations for Chelsea, it's going to be very difficult for them to mount a serious challenge long term, in my opinion, considering they've got 2 top kind of competitions they need to go for and basically need to kind of keep every kind of top player fit for them week in, week out. And the likes of Lavia, and you talked on like Reece James, these guys are not normally reliable to stay fit for the entire season. So yeah, it's going to be difficult for them. And personally, I don't think they are yet. I think they still need to maybe iron up that defense in terms of getting more stability, in terms of a more probably better plays in there. And obviously the keeper is another thing as well, potentially as well. And then again, the wingers, a good point you made in terms of Gittins and Garnacho. Are they ready to kind of challenge for the Premier League in terms of their consistency? Obviously, they're both young players still. I don't think they're really at the level. You probably want to get someone a bit more established if you're going to be having that as your target this season. So yeah, man, I think
they're not in the same boat, though, are they? Garnacho and Gittins. They're not in the same conversation. I think Garnacho's
for me they are. For me,
no. Come on, Mo. Garnacho is miles ahead of
I've been saying this.
I think this Gittins is corny.
Gittins, it's worrying. It's a big outlay on a player that really doesn't look at it. And Garnacho is a player that, you know, in a poor Manchester United team, got 10 goals and has had massive moments. I don't think they're in the same conversation. I really don't. I think it's incredibly harsh on Garnacho. Apart from
Garnacho's worse.
No, he's not. No, come on, Mo. Don't do that. He's not. I know the chat are rattling you. I know the chat are rattling you, but don't do that. He's not, is he?
I swear to God, Garnacho's worse in my mind.
Do you know what's probably
Garnacho? Big up everyone that joined. Guys, instead of you fuckers just typing 4-3 in the chat, can you just fucking like the damn video? We have like 500 fucking people and we're like on 70 likes. So fuck off from saying 4-3 to Juventus and fucking like the damn video, you fuckers. You fucking struggled. All you Liverpool fans fucking struggled against Burnley. I went to the toughest ground for Inter and we were robbed, right? And you won by a penalty. So fuck off and just fucking like the damn video. Instead of fucking typing 4-3. Oh my God, they're trying to wind me up. We'll see you in December when you come to the San Siro if you're going to win. Because all of you, if you don't win, I'm fucking coming for your heads. All of you. Go ahead, Joe. Ben, you haven't said a word.
You know, fucking a big conversation kicking off, mate. So, but on Chelsea, look, Chelsea are a good side. I don't think they're a great side, and that's with all due respect. And I couldn't even name half the players Chelsea signed. I don't even think Maresca could. Do you know what I mean? It's like a lucky dip. Look, you're talking about Gittins there. You can't be judging them just yet. Just give them a bit of time. And if people are judging Florian Wirtz play 4 games. These are young lads, you know what I mean? So
now we're coming to throw him, Bert. I'm not
No,
giving
I know,
time.
but I'm-
100.
thing, innit?
You
You've gotta
break the
give these
record.
kids time.
Here you go, Liverpool fans.
No,
They
no,
didn't
no.
give. They didn't.
That's how
give
we set up
any-
the Gittins
Bro,
one there.
Yeah,
yes,
he
bro,
ruled him in
oh
there.
my
Yeah.
God, this is a
Like
tactic.
Difference is,
You're
though,
doing
look, end of the
tactics.
day,
This is
Liverpool
the
are top of the
tactics
league.
you're
Like, Liverpool
doing.
can do what
Method
they
to
want.
the madness.
Yeah,
I see what you did there.
No, bro.
Difference is, though, look, he's going to Wales in a bit. Liverpool don't need him to be performing straight away, do you know what I mean? Got that many top players. But on Chelsea, look, they've got some serious players. The manager's just got to find his best team. You know, someone mentioned it before. You've got to have the same sort of team going out on the pitch to get points. And I think that's probably affected Cole Palmer, the different players constantly being in the side. And I think Chelsea will take time, but, you know, in the long run, they could be a serious side. You know, they've got money to go and do whatever they want to do.
With the money they spent, Ben, they should have been up there.
Yeah, but money means nothing. United have spent billions, lads, and, you know...
Now, Liverpool are saying that now because they spend the money. Oh, like this Liverpool fans.
It's not about that. Look, at the end of the day,
No, but
you know, if
it's
Liverpool
not
start
there, is
spending
it?
money, everyone have got a problem then, haven't they? Because Liverpool can do it when they don't spend money. So, you know, that's the difference. But at the end of the day, you've got to spend money wisely. So I think they
didn't spend the money wisely.
No, I know, but
Well,
Chelsea have got the
they-
money to throw enough shit at the wall and see what sticks, haven't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
you know
not
what, very
though,
well
Ben,
done.
that, as much as that is a meme and a joke, actually that's kind of what Chelsea's model is. And the players that are doing well enough and that are sticking and hit the ground running or have the right attitude are staying at the club and being rewarded with new contracts. And the players that they don't view as the right fit or players that haven't been good enough, they're not dwelling on it, which I think Chelsea have actually done before and sort of paid big money for players. They've not been good enough and they've been stuck with them for a long time. As much as I've criticised the model, and I do think that money's been wasted, and I think in a number of times we've seen repeat mistakes in terms of recruitment where you buy one too many players for a certain position where it's been a weakness and other positions are sort of left and forgotten about in the present and the here and now. I think actually you have to praise some of it, that when it hasn't gone right, they've moved the player on pretty quickly. And whether or not they've done that in the right way, by the way, is a whole different matter. Whether or not they've cared about the person who's actually, you know, turning up to the training ground every day and being separated from the squad is a different matter altogether. But they've moved players on when it's not gone right, and then they've brought players back in and they give it another go and another go. And eventually, you know, it might take 4 or 5 years and 3 billion, but they might have a squad that they believe is good enough to challenge. It's a different way of doing it. No one's viewed it before, but apparently they've spoken about in their companies and how they work with their own investments. That's what they do. If an investment, you know, hits the ground running, they stick with it, they back it. If it doesn't, and I think that's made them billionaires, and they've sort of applied that methodology to.
But can I tell you what the problem with that is?
I don't think that's right in terms of present success, but then also if they're sitting there with a Conference League and a Club World Cup after 3 years, I also don't think they can moan that much, and we can't as fans because it's still big achievements.
Can I tell you what the problem with that is? Is that would have worked if Arsenal and Liverpool. Okay, the target for Chelsea is to win the league, right?
Yeah. Well, no, to win. I think the target for Chelsea is to win trophies. I don't actually think it's to win the league.
But the league and the Champions League are like this is the target for a big club like Chelsea.
Yeah, but they're not going to do that now.
No, but my problem. Okay, but let me tell you what the problem is, right? The problem is Liverpool and Arsenal this window. Even though Chelsea spent money and the team might be ready in 2 years, I believe that Liverpool train is moving faster than the Chelsea train. So your train is not moving fast enough. You know what I mean? Like Liverpool bought Verts, 21 years old.
Moving faster than Arsenal, mightn't it? Like in terms of
Arsenal bought Eze.
We've won 2 trophies. We won a Club World Cup and a Conference League.
But the target,
Arsenal.
The target is to challenge for the league and win the league as well.
Yeah,
right?
but is that in terms of the process and the time frame that I think the club have sort of given themselves? Is I don't think we're quite at that point yet, and I think they'd be pretty content with where they are. I don't know if it's enough. And I think in the present, in the here and now, and for a consistent 38-game season, I don't currently think the squad is good enough to go and win a Premier League. Because I think I think you can turn up for individual games or have players step up in moments and win cup competitions. We've seen that happen at Chelsea for the last 20 years. But I don't think over a season, the squad is competitive enough or consistent enough in its performances, or there probably isn't enough stability. But I think we've said this time and time again that there's probably a window, isn't there, where a couple of managers sort of vacate from clubs and Chelsea are trying to be there for when that happens. And I think they're sort of looking to time it well with sort of how long Pep
But
might
what
be
if
at City
Liverpool stay with Arne Slot then?
Yeah, well,
They
I
are
don't
now
know.
targeting
Who
Baleba.
knows? Because
Probably.
Arne Slot, he's a good manager. I've been really impressed. I think this season, I actually don't think Liverpool have got off to the start I expected them to in terms of on the pitch and how they've played. But I did sit here quite openly and tell you before a ball was even kicked, Liverpool will be top of the league after that Arsenal game. They'll win 3 in a row. And you sat there and said to me, no, they won't. I don't know if I see that happening.
Because
blah, blah,
I
blah.
thought Chelsea would win 4 games.
No,
I thought Liverpool would draw Arsenal at home.
We didn't think that. I think the conversation was that Arsenal might be above Liverpool. Actually, I think was the conversation.
No, because I didn't think Arsenal would win at Anfield. I thought Chelsea would win the first 4 games.
Yeah, okay, but we didn't say Chelsea.
I said that. Okay, remember I said by October, before Chelsea play Liverpool, I'm expecting Chelsea to be top of the table because you have the easiest start out of all teams. Arsenal next week play Man City, who they're not guaranteed a win. Arsenal played Liverpool at Anfield. I would never sit here and pick Arsenal to win at Anfield against Liverpool. But based on the history, I expected Arsenal to get a point, and the game was going towards a point for each. And suppose I came up with a banger there. It's Chelsea against Crystal Palace. You cannot tell me that you're not expecting Chelsea to win in the opening game against Crystal Palace at home. I'm expecting Chelsea against Brentford, the team that got stripped, as Joe said.
Okay, I don't
that was my take, to be honest.
But I think I probably expected Chelsea to have a slow start to the season because of the late arrival back, the no normal pre-season, the Club World Cup hangover. I probably expected Chelsea to have a slow start to the season. If I'm being completely honest with you, I also thought City might as well. And I'm sort of still looking and judging around Europe at the clubs that have gone deep into the Club World Cup and how their start of the season's gone. I think it's a whole new commodity that we've not seen before, and we didn't know how that was going to go. What I did expect is that Liverpool would be strong starting the season. I don't know if Liverpool have been as good as I thought they'd be. I think a lot of that might come down to the stuff that happened over the summer, the dressing room, and how that might be at the moment, and also just sort of bedding in a number of new players because there's been a huge overhaul at Liverpool as well. But they're getting results, and I think that's what's so important. And I think that's what Arne Slot brings as a top manager, is he knows how to do that, and he knows how to get his team through a game whether or not they're on it or not, which I don't think all managers can do. But I think Liverpool will be there, even with, the timing wasn't probably expected. They probably thought Klopp might leave and then Liverpool have a process. I don't think people thought Arne Slot would be the to the level of achievement that he's already been and be as good as he's been. And then Liverpool have sort of doubled down on that success, haven't they? And built a team that, with or without Arne Slot, is probably going to be good enough to win for the next 5 years. With or without him as a manager.
And they made sure with that with the investment. They made sure with that with the investment
exactly what I mean. And I think that's ultimately something, if teams were preparing for the Klopp and Pep disperse and then an open window to sort of jump in, they probably didn't expect Liverpool to sort of, go that quickly to Arne Slot and have that much success that quickly in terms of how easily they won the league last season and then build a squad that quickly and spend that much money and it looked that good. I don't think people saw that coming, but maybe they saw more of a process and a more bigger window of opportunity. But still, I believe Chelsea are building a team to go and compete and put themselves in that competition or in that place to try and win a Premier League.
I think the transfers are too overly focused on youth, though, because looking at Chelsea's transfer policy, I think it's great to go for the next generation of talent, but Liverpool just in a position of power for winning the Premier League have essentially just bought top quality that are almost like ready-made to walk in. And I'm not going to put too much pressure on Wirtz because it's like a few games, it's a completely different league. But it doesn't matter what Wirtz does because the team's already good enough. So these players that have come in, there isn't a pressure for Wirtz to carry the team because they're already good enough. Whereas with Chelsea, you see lots of players like Garnacho. Again, I think Manchester United fans will say one for the future, even if he's at United, you'd be expecting 3 or 4 years' time. And you've got the same like Caicedo and Lavia. I think injuries are going to mean he's not going to be as good as people thought he was going to be. But you've gone for this process of moving players on, if they're not good enough. But all the players you're signing, Gittins, Garnacho, it feels like Chelsea. Are Chelsea going to buy someone that's like 25 that costs 150 million that is required to actually get them to over the line? Or is Chelsea going to be
I think if they were to sit down in a room with you, they'd probably say to you, why do we need to? And as much as I've been in agreement with your point as well, and I do believe that those players would speed up the process in the here and now, they'd sit there and say that, they are doing things differently, but they're building a squad that is developing at a pretty quick rate. The players that are working, they're keeping, and the players that don't, they're moving on. there's that old saying, isn't there, that it doesn't matter about the age. If a player's good enough, he's old enough. And I think Chelsea, that's sort of the take that they've sort of applied to the squad. And if a player comes in and hits the ground running, no matter what the age is, most of the time they're going to be young though, because of the process and the sort of view in terms of age and money and how that sort of holds value. They're probably going to be of a certain age, but they are doing it purely based on performance. Enzo Fernandez is a player that come in for a lot of money. We're now seeing him probably be considered an experienced player in the team. The same with Caicedo. Cole Palmer is now that as well. He's played in some of the biggest games you can. This is a team that have played, we've got World Cup winners in the team. We've got players that have won the Club World Cup now. We've got young, hungry players that want to come and join Chelsea as well. I've really questioned the model, and I think it is different, and it feels very strange. I can assure you of that. And I do think there are signings that I wouldn't make. But at the same time, this was the point at the very beginning, was in 3, 4, 5 years' time, where's this Chelsea squad going to be at? And I think they would tell you that the core and the main players that have been sort of made the sort of spine of this team are on the right track, and I think they're progressing in the way they'd have expected them to. I think there's just a few issues around the squad that I don't think have been addressed yet, when they probably could have been, considering the outlay and expenditure that's happened elsewhere in the squad. Do you need to pay 50 million for Gittins, João Felix last season, when you could have replaced Sanchez or got another centre back in or someone else over the line? Are they the type of signings that need to happen? I'm not sure. I think Garnacho, the writing was on the wall as soon as Mudryk got his ban, to be honest with you. I think that was always going to happen, but there was proof that him and Mudryk were probably a similar sort of level. I think with Gittins, it was much more of a gamble, and obviously they've moved on a lot of players as well. And I do think the stability and the volatility, the volatility doesn't help, and stability would be far more beneficial. I think every team would agree with that, but they'll get there in the end, and stability eventually will happen because they would have moved on enough players that aren't good enough, and the ones that are good enough will be sticking to their positions, and they'll build the squad around that.
I think I'm waiting to judge Chelsea completely. If Chelsea by December are 15 points behind the leaders, I will start saying that transfer window has failed, because that was where you were exactly last season. And if Chelsea get top 5, okay, or top 4, you got top 4 last season. There's no difference between last season and this season. If you go and win the cup, if you go to the quarterfinal in the Champions League, if you go to the semi-final, yeah, that's fine. You progressed. But otherwise, okay, what's the difference? There's no difference between this season and last season. I'm waiting to see, to be honest, because Delap getting injured hurt Chelsea a lot, because I think they could have used Delap yesterday or 2 days ago. Not having a winger that you can rely on the left. I don't know where Estevao was. Yes,
yeah, ill apparently.
Ill or something like this. Yeah, Paul.
Well, I don't know if it's true, is it? Because as much as I agree with obviously having to play Gittins, that they do have players they can rely on to play off that left-hand side. Neto could play there. Estevao could have played off the right. They've got players, obviously, that are coming back from international duty that haven't got the minutes in their legs. They need to be managed because, obviously, we've had a few injuries early on this season. I don't think they want many more in the squad, because the one thing I'll say is, and I've said this a number of times about a number of different squads, is I don't think there's enough scrutiny when it comes to squad building around injuries that might happen. And I think the teams that really do take a chance that injuries might happen and they build their squad out and have cover and have a number of players benefit, I really do think that. The teams that take the gamble, or it doesn't ever really pay off, to be honest with you. I think we've seen it because of the amount of games and the intensity of these games. I think a lot of teams that take the gamble on players not getting injured end up regretting it and have to make additional signings in January, or end up writing off their season because of these injuries. I think if you plan, I think I look at Liverpool and I think, right, they've identified Ekitike as an option. They've paid a lot of money for him. They've got him on the contract signed. He probably thought he'd get more game time than what he's now probably going to get. I look at Manchester City doing sort of the same with James Trafford, and then they go and sign Donnarumma. Liverpool sign Isak. That's the sort of level I think you need to be doing if you're a team that want to go and win on a number of different fronts, because you need quality across the board, and you've got to go and sign players of that level and have that level of competition in the squad. You've got to do that. But I also think you've got to make like Liverpool tried to do it with Van Dijk. It's another example. But if Van Dijk gets injured, then Liverpool fans will start to be probably a little bit more concerned about the defence. Had they got Gehi in, they'd probably feel a little bit more comfortable. And I think that's where I view Liverpool as a squad building process. They assessed all options and made sure they were having cover and top quality cover in all areas of their squad. I don't know how you feel now, Ben, whether you feel you've done a good job there, but I think you have, and I think you attempted to do an even better job, but it didn't work out for whatever reasons. I don't think all teams have done that where possible, and I think Chelsea have probably sort of been unbalanced in where they've done that as well this summer.
Yeah, guys, this I want to move on from Chelsea. For the sake of time, Mina saying big up Joe, still top 5 in FPL, still trust Verts, which is a good segue. Guys, over 500 people. Can we get to 300 likes live, guys? Hit that like button, guys. It helps the channel. I haven't streamed for a while, so I'm trying to get the algorithms back. With your help, we can. Liking the video tells YouTube that there's interaction, so hit that like button. For Liverpool, why the energy is different? I'm being serious, and I asked this question yesterday. Last season, Arsenal won their game, but people said the performances are not good. This season, Liverpool winning their games, 4 games, all of them after the 80th minute to get the winner. One of them is a free kick. One of them was a penalty yesterday. Against Newcastle, against 10 men, they should have batted that game, and they didn't. Why there is different energy for Liverpool now from the media, from people? Are people scared to say that these performances are not sustainable?
It's this to me.
To anybody. It's an open floor. Anyone can say.
The game finishes when the referee blows the whistle, mate, doesn't it?
But that didn't happen for Arsenal last season. When people were saying...
Did Arsenal win those games, Mo, when they come under that scrutiny as well?
I think... Yeah, some of the games you're talking about, Mo, there was a lot of draws in there. We did draw 14 games.
In the beginning of the season, City as well, in the beginning of the season, they were top of the table. People said it's not sustainable because the performances are not good enough.
Yeah, I think it comes back to what obviously Ben said, man. We've not won the league. We've not won a major trophy. So it always comes back to that. Because Liverpool have won the league title last season, they've got credit in the bank. People are saying, well, yeah, they're not playing well. They've won the games. But when they do play well, which they did last season, we know what they're capable. We know they can go on and win this league with this manager, with the current players they've got already. When it comes to Arsenal, this always comes back to, obviously, as an Arsenal fan, it's all good having these stats and all these statistics and the big top 6 record and the best, obviously, defense. But it comes down to winning trophies at the end of the day. Until you get over the line, fans, whether it's rival fans or current fans, also fans, they're not going to fully trust the team that they can really get it over the line when it's all said and done. Obviously, it's all good to have these stats, but you got to back it up with silverware at the end of the day. Otherwise, again, you become a team like maybe a Spurs under Pochettino, where they're playing good football, they've got good stats, but they don't really amount to anything in terms of silverware, and then they kind of just get left in the wayside. So I think that's the major issue with it. In terms of the Liverpool, yeah, I don't think they've played very well in terms of the first 4 games, but the key thing is they've got maximum points. No one's even managed to get a draw. And that's the thing about it, man. When you're not playing very well, I think the key thing is to try and get as many points as possible.
So you don't think that it's going to catch up to them? You don't think it's going to catch up to them?
No, because I think...
for years, lads.
Yeah, I think Isak comes in. I think... So, because we're talking about Verts not having a good game. Verts is a very good player. At some stage, he is going to click for him. And when that happens, Liverpool automatically are going to play better than they are now. So you got to think about these players that are underperforming, not playing to their actual best at the minute. When they kick into gear, these attacking players, especially, look at Salah. I don't think Salah's been anywhere near what he was last season.
He's been our worst player this year.
Yeah, and this is what I'm saying. So when he kicks into gear...
So why are you guaranteeing that Verts will play well? I don't understand this. Why are we guaranteeing that...
Sorry to fucking have a pop here, but what is the shit about him not playing well? He has had good parts in his game. Do you know what the problem is? Right, no one gives him credit that he chose the hard route. He could have took the easy fucking route and pissed it for Bayern. He took the hard route and went, no, I want a different challenge, come to Liverpool. Do you know what? When this team clicks, if Liverpool are smashing it now, getting all the points, what are they going to be like when they click? Do you know what I mean?
I think it's purely the price. It's the price, isn't it? You spend 50 million or you spend 150, the expectation goes up. But in reality, a player has to adapt to a different league. It doesn't matter how much they cost. I would say what was interesting is that Liverpool won against Burnley, last-minute penalty. Manchester United won against Burnley, last-minute penalty. I think the press reported it a bit differently. And it's probably because of Manchester United's previous results compared with Liverpool's previous results. I think that's just, again, for Manchester United, it's like media, isn't it? It's just... again, we don't help ourselves with our performances, but you can see that when Manchester United were winning the league, They did the same thing. And again, winning games in the last 10 minutes is nothing new. It's a sign of a dominant team that carries on playing for 90 minutes. And actually, sometimes against a low block, you just wear teams down over that amount of time. And
very difficult low blocks, by the way. You know, United had it over the years. Everyone just wants to sit in. People think you just go there and you stroll these teams. It's so hard against these who their motto yesterday was to just not lose the shape, and it's difficult.
Like your centre backs were past the centre circle in their
sat on chairs, lad, for most of the
crazy.
Game.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
Like Bradley was literally like having to go so far up onto your forward line because like they had to. You had to create overload somewhere, and you hit the nail on the head. That sometimes they can be the most difficult fixtures because there's no space to operate, and ultimately sometimes like you've almost got to take Burnley out of that position. But there were times right where Van Dijk or Konate would get on the ball, they go back to Alisson. Burnley didn't even move. Like Burnley didn't even come out of that shape, and when that happens, no space is being created. That's why it takes a penalty in the 90th
shot yesterday, Burnley, by the way.
Do you know what I mean? Because this is the thing, right? Is that you can't even sit there and make the point that your defense sort of kept you in the game because they weren't even defending. Do you know what I mean?
They spent 50 passes in the first half, Burnley. They may as well have just not even come out. Do you know what I mean? But I understand it from their point of view. You look, a point against us would be massive. Do you know what I mean? Say with United, they nearly got the point there. But at the end of the day, you know, people can say it's luck and all that shit. Liverpool deserved the win yesterday because Burnley.
No, you didn't. No, you didn't.
They were 80% ball, mate.
No, you didn't deserve.
What do you think a draw? Is that what you think? Because I don't know if Burnley did enough to earn a draw. Maybe.
Dan, all I have to tell you, Dan. All I have to tell you. The only shot on target they had for the first 60 minutes is Robertson with his right foot.
So it wasn't for the want of trying, was it? Because they were trying to create opportunity. I almost felt like though,
but they didn't, Dan. But they didn't, right? But they didn't create opportunities.
I almost felt like at times it was almost a little bit too congested with how many players Liverpool had in similar areas of the pitch. I almost felt like it got a little bit too congested, and I think it allowed Burnley to just sort of sit in those two blocks and just make it incredibly tough.
Because of them, mate. You've got to remember, if you're expecting Liverpool to constantly have clear-cut chances against the side that had 11 fellas on the goal line, well, then you're...
I'm going to be honest with you guys. When Arsenal or City were playing against low blocks and they weren't winning, people were not coming out and saying that, it's against low blocks. People were saying, I'm expecting you to create chances. Liverpool didn't create chances yesterday.
So do we praise Burnley then? Do we praise
100%. Burnley were magnificent. Magnificent. The setup from Parker was amazing. They actually were desperation. Cody Gakpo was shooting from outside the box, being blocked outside the box by two players. Burnley were magnificent. Ikitike, instead of playing on the shoulder of the last defender, like he did, I think, in the Charity Shield, he was dropping deep, trying to get involved in the game.
So it's games like that, though, isn't it? Where you spend that money on Wirtz to unlock those games, and spend that money on an Isak to score you goals in those moments, right?
Yes.
So that's why Liverpool spent that money. Wirtz
and that's why Dan, we criticized Arsenal when we said that against low blocks, Kai Havertz is not the guy.
In all fairness to Arsenal, they didn't spend 300 million on two players to
they were criticized for not getting the striker over the last 2 years that will unlock, and Odegaard was criticized. Odegaard was criticized massively for failing to create chances against low blocks.
I think that was fair, but Odegaard also
100% was fair. Then 100%
was fair, but he didn't cost 150 million.
And so is it more justified to criticize Liverpool, or is it justified to criticize Arsenal? Which one is it?
Probably Liverpool because of the outlay and the players. But at the same time, I also think there were other issues there with Arsenal where I think the manager was probably to blame at times as well in certain games last season and over the course of the last 2 or 3 years. I think for Arne Slot, I think he also is making sure that his team are in the position to get these victories in the last few weeks as well. They've got the mentality. I don't know if Arsenal have had that mentality installed in them over the past 3, 4, 5 seasons from their manager. I think Klopp probably helped, but I think Arne Slot came with a mentality to win things straight away, and it meant everything, and that's why he won in his first season.
Let's watch this comment. Missing the point. Was said about City last year, and they won 4 on the trot Liverpool are media darlings, Wirtz are Sky Sports. Now they are praising Wirtz for running around. This is what Sky Sports are doing. I'm being
Have they not
serious, by
always
the
done
way.
that though? Like distance
This is
covered.
Sky
and-
Sports, though, isn't it? I mean, Sky Sports are looking for a headline. Are they watching the games? I don't know. I think it's this expectation that someone's going to drop into the Premier League from the Bundesliga and hit the ground running in a different league. I think is unrealistic. And again, some people do it, but I think for a lot of people, you have to judge them over a longer time period. So I want Wirtz to fail. Obviously, a Man United fan, but I think he'll be fine. I think 4 games is a bit
You can
over the
see
top to
glimpses with
scrutinise.
Wirtz, you know what I mean? You can see how good his technique is and shit on the ball. It's got to take time. Like, the thing is, you mentioned it before, Liverpool don't need them to be fucking hitting the ground straight away, do they? Because they've got other players in the team. You know, if it comes through, which I think it will, and you can already see little glimpses, there's no questions about it. He's going to be a serious player for the
Do you know what, as well? Once you add a striker like Isak to the mix, right? You then obviously Wirtz has that sort of player to start looking for as well. I'm not saying that Ekitike isn't, but you can't not look for Isak, can you, in that role as a 10? Like, you're going to find...
He's going to find him, isn't he? And
Yeah.
he's going to score. There's no two ways around it. He's going to be an absolute demon for Liverpool. But the one thing people are failing to get with Liverpool is they haven't played with a proper number 10 for years. The last one was Philip Coutinho. And I know Szoboszlai played that kind of role last year, but he's not that player. Do you know what I mean? So Liverpool, you mentioned it before, we've got a fair few new players. It's going to take time. I never expected us to look great from the off, to be honest, this season. You know, the new personnel, you know, new fullbacks. I think we signed about 8 players. Obviously, not all of them are going to be starters, of course, but it takes time. You know, I think Mo Salah's struggling with the new players.
Do you think all the players were needed?
Well, we certainly needed right backs and left backs. Do you know what I mean? I think Kostas has been loaned out because he's probably going to replace Robbo next year.
We need to talk about that left back, mind.
Yeah, do you know what, mate? He hasn't started great. Again, he's a young kid, and the first game, I can understand why he lost his head a bit playing against his old side. Stupid yesterday getting that yellow card, but at the end of the day, mate, you don't sign them for immediate, do you? You know, obviously you want them to be good from the off, but let's just see. It is what it is, isn't it? People saying flops and all that shit in the comments, chatting fucking waffle. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they're on long contracts as well. They've been signed for a long period of time as well. Like, we've seen players move, weirdly enough, and I think more recently, I don't have exact players, but we've seen more players now take time to adjust in the Premier League, moving from team to team, than I think we've ever seen before. I think because teams play in a number of different ways and have different tactical setups, I don't think all the teams are as similar as it used to be. And step-ups used to be sort of, I think, easier to make for players moving around different teams in the league. It was always from abroad that we found adjustment periods. But now I think players definitely having to make adjustments through different tactical setups because there's so many variations throughout the league.
It's probably the toughest it's been, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know what? I'm gonna.
It is.
People think it's an agenda. Enzo Fernandez moved to the Premier League from Benfica. Day 1, day 2, day 3, he's criticised. You're not playing well. You're not justified the price tag. Florian Wirtz, player of the season in the Bundesliga, arguably one of the best players in Germany, won the league invincible, moves to Liverpool, an established team with some of the best players around. Some of the best players. Salah, I'm Egyptian. Salah is the best player in the league currently because of the season that he had last season. Arne Slot, people say he's one of the best managers out there. You have McAllister, you have Gravenberch, you have Van Dijk, the best leader in the Premier League currently. Alisson as well, who's a leader from the back. But I don't think Florian Wirtz is justifying £50 million for Liverpool. But no one is wanting to have this conversation.
The league, aren't they? So regardless,
it's not about that. It's not about that. They're
Has he been that bad?
No, he hasn't.
No, he hasn't. No, he hasn't.
That bad.
And I'm not saying he has been, but it hasn't been. Guys, I'm not saying he has been bad. I'm saying he has been. Listen, I'm a neutral. I have to have the same energy. If I say that Martin Odegaard is becoming one of the guys on the pitch, if I say that this player is being one of the guys on the pitch, I have to have the same energy. Because Florian Wirtz has been just another guy on the pitch for Liverpool. Pass it around, run around. If my team sign £100 million player, a player that is the best in the Bundesliga, one of the best in Germany. I'm expecting off my seat moment to every single game. I'm not expecting someone to come in and just be one of the lads on the pitch. That is for example, Isak. Are we expecting Isak to come in and be embedded and stuff like this? People don't. I'm going to tell you. I'm going to tell you the difference. Gyökeres for his game was absolutely hammered in the media, and he's half the price. He's half the price. Hammered.
He's also half the player of Isak. Let's make no mistake about it.
I'm not talking about Isak. I'm talking about Wirtz. He was hammered in the media, Gyökeres, for playing a bad game against Man United. Even though he's a striker and not getting touches and not getting service, right? You talk about Man City players that are coming Doku for £50 million. People were absolutely destroying him for Man City when he didn't have an output in the beginning. Jack Grealish was destroyed, right? Florian Wirtz, and I'm saying that Florian Wirtz, and I'm not talking about Liverpool as a team, because 12 points of 12 points is great. Right, you cannot ask for a better start. But I think that people are taking it easy on the £100 million signing, but they weren't taking it easy on the Chelsea ones or the Arsenal Declan Rice. Declan Rice won 8 man of the matches in his first 12 games for Arsenal. 8 man of the matches. Being a midfielder. Caicedo went to Chelsea.
He played. They both played in the league. Enzo Fernandez though didn't. He had an adjustment period, didn't he, for quite a long period of time? Even though he kind of probably had a bit of a honeymoon period to begin with. Then he got a lot worse, and it took quite a while mixed in with an injury. There's been a number of players that haven't hit the ground running. I think Isak come over from. He didn't hit the ground running, did he, from Sociedad like straight away?
No, he didn't. But Isak was not Wirtz.
But
Isak is not Wirtz.
Yeah, but for example, Isak went to the Bundesliga and at Dortmund and didn't really do much at all. And people were sort of saying, no, he's promising, but he's not really doing much. He went to Spain and looked a little bit better, but his numbers still weren't amazing. Sometimes these players, I think we got so lost for years seeing so much consistency from a couple of players in like Messi and Ronaldo and a couple of other players that put together like good 4, 5, 6, 7 year stints at the top level for such a long period of time that we've kind of got lost in that sort of consistency should always happen, but I don't think it does. Some players will have peaks and troughs and seasons where they're at the top of their game and seasons not. I think Foden's one of those players. I think you're
Can I ask you something, Dan, for it? Can I ask you something? If Salah is not playing well and he's going in AFCON in about like a month and 2 months, he's going in December to AFCON. It's September now. There's 2 international breaks before AFCON. He's going for 6 weeks, right, to AFCON. If Egypt reaches a semi-final or the final. If Wirtz takes months to get embedded in the league, are we assuming that Isak is the one carrying Liverpool to the title this season? Or are we expecting Salah to be back to his best?
No, because I think Liverpool's defence obviously helps massively as well.
And I have to tell you something then. Normally Salah starts well and fades.
But Mo,
this is the first time I see Salah doesn't start well.
Okay, agreed. And he didn't probably have, the best ending to the season last year, apart from obviously winning the league. He wasn't probably at the form he was at certain points throughout. But players will develop at different times. I think that's so crucial to remember here. Like, okay, maybe he's not hit the ground running yet, Wirtz, but he may step up. Or Isak obviously will come in and make a huge difference. But the point is, if we're going to use Salah as an example, right? At 22, Salah hadn't done anything compared to what Wirtz has already done in his career. But then obviously a sort of late on in his career bloomed and become what he is today, which is an unbelievable player and has obviously helped Liverpool win leagues and Champions Leagues. But Wirtz at 22 is miles ahead of where Salah was on the development line as well. So
100%.
Who knows where Wirtz will be? I mean, Wirtz could be more similar to like a Hazard or something like that, where they have a probably a better career when they're a little bit younger and stuff. But he's had huge injuries as well, Wirtz, as well, not to forget. So he'll adjust and probably be fine, to be honest with you. But I think Liverpool have shown in the first 4 games that it doesn't really matter if anyone's not carrying them through games, because they've got a squad that are there with the right mentality to win games of football.
Again, we'll see. Nafisa here. Thank you, Nafisa. Welcome back. Never would go into a team who got 12 points out of 12 because that's amazing. And props to Liverpool. She's an Arsenal fan. But I'm sorry, panels don't even have predictions for Burnley versus Liverpool because people laughed it off. It is crazy. Yeah, Burnley could have gotten a point easy, Nafisa. Yes, 100%. But performances don't matter. That's what I'm hearing from everyone. Performances don't matter. It's ridiculous. Anyways, big up the panel and hit the like button, people. Come on, guys. We got almost 700 people in the house, so hit that like button, people. What are you saying, Martin?
Apologies for late. Yeah. What am I saying? What
About Liverpool and all the performances and all the stuff that is going on with Liverpool. And
they're doing what
12
they need
points.
to do. They're doing what they need to do ahead. All that they've not hit top gear. They can also go the other way though. And suddenly, I do agree with you on Burts. I think he will be a great player, but there is a media narrative that comes out, especially that's where the Isak Haaland debate came from last week. Like, Isak's not even in Haaland's league. What are we doing?
I think he's a better player, but fine.
Well, that's you don't understand strikers.
I don't think Isak's a better player than Haaland.
You do realise he scored double assists, etc. We can go through it all if you want. He was scoring goals at Anfield while Isak was still probably, however old he was. You do remember Salzburg dicking on Liverpool, don't you?
Yeah, but I still think that Isak is a better player than Haaland.
Yeah, that's because you got an agenda. But anyway,
got an agenda.
If Haaland was in a Liverpool shirt,
in what way? In what
way is Isak better?
I can explain very easy. I think that Isak can create his own chances, can assist his teammates, can do other things.
Haaland yesterday?
Yes, he was brilliant, fantastic, amazing.
Got an assist.
Yeah. Okay. I genuinely think if I'm choosing a striker, if there is no service, I would have Isak create his own chance and win the game by himself. I think Haaland can do this. Like, for example, if City are not playing well, I think Haaland is out of the game, for example. But if Liverpool are not playing well, I think Isak can win them the 3 points on his own because he's someone that can drop outside of the penalty area, can create his own chance, can dribble couple pass players, can go to the left, can drift out. This is why I don't think he's better finisher than Haaland. If you're talking about a number 9, Haaland is better. We saw that yesterday. The finishing is immaculate. It's ridiculously amazing. But I think Isak, for me, can win you 3 points by himself. Haaland can't. That's why I say that.
How many assists in 324 games? How many assists does Isak have?
I'm just watching the player, and that's my opinion about it. I don't know. I don't know this. Wallahi, I don't. Wallahi, I don't do this. Wallahi, I don't know this.
Well, okay. Yeah,
I don't know. You can tell me the stat because you ran into the narrative of Isak versus Haaland.
I didn't.
I was asked a simple question. I was asked a simple question. I said that before the media. You know me. I said that when Liverpool were linked with Isak. I said that. I'm not buying into the narrative. I don't buy into the agenda.
You were the one who started pop pass on Grealish.
And it was correct because you watch him now at Everton and he's a different player.
Yeah, because he's not playing a 10-man low block.
Because he's not glued. He's not glued to the line. Like watch Doku yesterday, going around the pitch. He looked brilliant. Why? Because he's not glued to the line.
Get into that. We played very different, but again, that's
exactly that, right? So
Isak, 324 games.
Everyone here. Okay, so am I the only one here that thinks that Isak is a better player than Haaland as a forward? Am I the only one? No one else thinks that.
Haaland's he's a proper demon up front, and when he's finishing the way he does, I think as of right now, you'd probably have to say Haaland's a better player. But let's see how Isak does with us. Do you know what I mean? Because let's face it, I think everyone can agree who's here. He's going to be a serious player for Liverpool, Isak. There's no two ways around it. I'm a fan of Haaland. He's always been a cracking player. You mentioned Salzburg, lads. I was there. I cut a fucking man on the pitch and tackled him myself. He was doing me head in the fucking game when he came on. And he was a player that we should have been looking at the time. Do you know what I mean? Seems like City had a free run. But I think Liverpool's style, I think Isak probably suits us better than Haaland. We expect them to get around the pitch more, but look, in front of goal, give Haaland a sniff. He scores.
Yes.
But there was no free run. There was 8 clubs involved. He had 8 meetings.
Well, it is what it is. You just put the money in in the fucking bank. It's what it is. But I'm sure.
Back to this narrative that wasn't.
I can't just say release clause. Wasn't City getting done for putting money in his Alpha's bank or something? So
no, there's only your club. There's only your club who's actually been legally and fully done for that.
Well, it is what
when you hack
systems. He's a top player, Haaland, and I think he just had a little slower season last year, even though he scored a fair few goals.
Sweep and move.
The thing is, though, Haaland has a slow season, gets 20 plus goals. Isak has a generational season, gets 23 or something.
Someone plays for Pep, someone plays for Eddie Howrich. I'm sorry.
Oh, come on, they're not close, are they? Haaland, I think he's just ridiculous.
All right. Let's do national. Let's do country then. We're going to play this game because I did 324 games for Isak, 144 goals, 30 assists. You're now telling me Haaland doesn't get assists. 332 games, 62 goals. Well, obviously, in the last couple of days. 58 assists. For someone.
Then Martin, you have to go further with that and look at the players that Haaland's been playing with compared to Isak as well.
Dortmund, Salzburg, what are we doing?
Okay, but Isak obviously has not been in the same sort of talent pool in terms of a squad as what Haaland has for the amount of years as well. So
has he not?
No, of course he hasn't, mate. He's been at Newcastle and Sociedad, and Haaland's been at. Well, yeah, but he wasn't at the same level in the team, was he, as what Haaland was at Dortmund?
Like Sociedad is not close to Dortmund.
The talent pool hasn't been the same. Haaland has been in and around some unbelievable players to assist to. I don't think Isak's had the same blessing of squad and players around him as what Haaland has in terms of assists. I don't think either, by the way, are in the team for their creativity and their assists. I think Mo makes a really good point, and I do genuinely think that like last season when I don't think City were clicking and weren't putting it on a plate as much as they were for Haaland in previous seasons, you might actually benefit from having an Isak in your side that can create something out of nothing. But I almost think that's almost a disservice to Haaland as well, because I think he's got that ability to. But technically, I can see where Mo's coming from. I think he probably is a better player than Haaland in most areas. I don't know about finishing, actually. I think
finishing Haaland is better.
Technically is as good as it gets. But I think I don't know if being able to create your own chances makes you a better player that can score at the rate Haaland can. I'm not sure it does, Mo. That's the only thing I'd say. I think Haaland scores at such an alarming rate, even though Isak can have a good season and create his own chances. I think to do what Haaland's doing is probably putting him in the category of best in the world at the moment.
He's probably the number 9 now. He's currently the best number 9.
Yeah, I think the conversation probably right now is between him and Mbappe.
Yeah, probably. Like I'll pick like number 9. I'll pick Haaland. But if you're asking me to choose a player for my team, if I have one player left.
If you compared Isak, you'd say that Mbappe is a similar player but a level above, whereas I don't think you can find the level above Haaland.
I don't like Mbappe. That's just me.
Yeah, but whether or not you like him or not, Mbappe is definitely better than Isak. So then I don't see a player being like Haaland. I don't know if there's better. I think Haaland's probably better than Kane. I think it probably is his closest competitor, and I think he's better. I think there's. I don't know if there's
Haaland
more
is better than Kane. You think Haaland is better than Kane?
Yeah, because I think if Haaland was playing for Bayern Munich, he would be on way more goals than Harry Kane. I think he's more mobile. I think Kane technically can do more than Haaland can, but I don't think that matters in the terms of when a player's in the team to score goals. Bayern Munich have creators. They don't need Harry Kane to be creating as much as they do, as much as City probably don't need Haaland to be their main point of creativity.
I think Kane is better, but that's just a different day. We're not here to discuss Kane. My man, thank you so much for super. Why I can't wait for Salah to go to AFCON. So Frimpong and Bradley will take the wings. He is old and probably finished. Verts will be good. He's only 22. Yeah.
How many goals did Harry Kane have at Haaland's point, by the way? Same amount of games, Martin.
How many what? 30-something.
How many goals did Harry Kane have at Haaland's point of games in the Premier League?
Probably less.
Kane had less, definitely, I think.
100%. 100%.
Yeah,
without a shot.
I honestly, I think Haaland...
No one has ever scored like Haaland in percentage. Yeah. Yes.
If Haaland stays for as long as his contract, he will be miles ahead of Harry Kane in terms of goals.
I think he will break Alan Shearer's record.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you have...
Easy.
So you have the best striker. You still think you're going to win the league, Martin, then?
I think
that changed.
I think we're third in that race.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we'll just see what happens.
But you said that you have the best squad in the league. You still believe that?
That was until we ended up in injuries within 3 bloody games.
Yeah, but surely a squad, Martin, is to be based around injuries. No,
Not
That's
when you
the
have
whole point of a
not when you have
squad.
8, 9, 10 injuries. There's a total difference there when that takes half your squad down.
I don't
Who's
know.
injured
Martin.
now?
I'm not sure.
Who's injured now? Oh, Marmoush, because Marmoush got the. They haven't
Well,
released.
we haven't even seen Cherky yet. Cherky's literally the 15-minute man at the minute. He's out till end of October.
He's injured as well.
No Kovacic. Yeah, that's what I mean. We've got no Mamouche. John Stones is injured again, which I know.
It's not like Martin. This is why we had the debate a few weeks ago, and I said to you that you don't have the best squad in the league, and you definitely didn't agree with my point. But
also, when everyone's fit, we have the deepest squad.
Yes, I agree with you. But
Arsenal have the numbers now. Arsenal have the deepest one.
Okay, wait, no. This was my point to Martin when we had this discussion a few weeks ago before a ball was even kicked.
Yeah.
That you are building a squad around players that you can't guarantee will be fit. All right, some are freak injuries, but there are players in there that have had repeat injuries that you haven't been able to count on time and time again. And I said this earlier in the show, the teams that build a squad around predicting injuries will happen to their squad are finding themselves in much better positions than the ones who gamble on players being fit again when they've already got a history of injuries or you're light in that area of the squad. And City have found themselves it's not like John Stones hasn't had injuries or Kovacic hasn't had injuries. They've had injuries.
No, Kovacic we knew about. It was John Stones had done something he hadn't done in about 2 years.
But John Stones would get injured walking to the shot.
Well, he hadn't because for the first time in 4 years he played 4 games in a row.
Yes.
So that's where you are thinking, oh, right. A little bit of light at the end of the tunnel. He's now doing 4 in a row.
But Martin, you had injury. All right, you've got rid of a few of the players that had issues, but it's not like you haven't had injuries.
We got rid of them all.
Well, Ake's still there. John Stones is still there.
Ake wasn't a problem with injuries.
Yeah, but Ake had his fair share of injuries, hasn't he?
Yeah, last season.
That's what I mean. And he's had him at Chelsea.
It's the same as Lavia for Chelsea, for
So
example.
one season makes them injury prone.
No, it doesn't, Martin, because I've literally followed Nathan Ake's whole career. He's had a number of injury issues throughout his time at Bournemouth, Chelsea, and Manchester City. It's not like it was one season. I think a number of players in Manchester City's team have had injuries. I think you've had a team that have had a fair few injuries. I mean, Haaland wasn't even without them last season. And you're gambling on having him as your main outlet as a striker. Obviously, Marmoush came in as
a foot injury.
Yeah, but he still had it, and I don't think. All right, have you got cover for Haaland if he gets injured? Then,
Nope.
No, and Marmoush is cover for probably. I'm not sure. Maybe
Doku on the left.
Doku, maybe he's there as a potential striker if needed, but he's injured. This is why I don't think Manchester City ever had the best squad. I think talent-wise, when everyone's fit, there's definitely a conversation to be had. But I think the best squads are built on being there and being able to be durable throughout injury hit times, throughout different tactical setups. So I think it's a number of different things, not just based on ability. Huh?
Yeah, every team gets injured. Nobody's saying that.
The question was not, when everyone's fit, when we're doing that, we were talking about.
No, you have said a number of times you said a number of times you have the best squad in the league, and I don't think you do.
You've interrupted me 3 times. Please let me speak about my own club. We have had
Martin. I watch Man City just as much as you.
You really don't.
Well, I do though, don't I? Because they're on
every
week.
Go home and away.
Okay, Martin. About the injuries, the whole point of squad depth, Martin, is that you have covers.
Yeah, but we weren't at the time. We weren't saying. I was talking on ability wise.
Yeah, but a squad, Martin, doesn't come down to just ability. It doesn't. I'm sorry to break it to you, but it doesn't come down to ability.
But Martin, because the squad depth is numbers, quality in depth. That Liverpool, for example, they don't have the squad depth in defense. They might have 2 defenders in Leone and Gomez, but they don't have the quality, Martin. Anyway,
can I speak without being interrupted 30 seconds?
I don't want to spend a lot of time on the squad depth thing. I just wanted. What does the win yesterday tell us, Martin, about Man City?
We were willing to change, which is what I said weeks ago. We were going to change. No, we won't. We had 44 points from possession. we basically played the way Liverpool did at the Etihad last season, which I thought I'd never say under Pep Guardiola. Liverpool came to the Etihad last season, I think, was it 33% possession? And basically we're playing on the counter-attack. Now, I never thought I'd see a Pep Guardiola team play on the counter. And we did. We set traps all over the place for United. They fell into them. The amount of times we were pressing the United lines. You just look at that second goal. That's from United's ball-out possession. And we stopped them by pressing high, getting in, winning the ball. You got O'Reilly, you had Foden, you had Doku. Ball through to Haaland. Good night, Vienna.
But people are still not taking City seriously in the title race.
That's fine. People don't have to. No one ever takes City seriously. That's fine by me.
No,
I've not got a problem with that.
How is that? It's the other way around.
Yesterday, the amount of shows it was United were bad. That's all I heard of everyone. United were bad. Every show, United are bad. United are bad. United are bad. United are bad.
No, but you destroyed them yesterday. You destroyed them.
We
Big up
did.
Ben. I know you have to go. Guys, Ben channel in the description. Thank you, Ben, for joining. Brilliant debut, Ben. I just want to get you more on the channel.
Nice to meet all you
Yeah.
lads as well. And look, thanks for having me on.
No. Yeah,
See
no
you later.
worries, man. I'll see you
Take care,
later,
man.
man.
See you later, bro.
Oh, this is a change there. Oh, people still don't want to like rule out Pep Guardiola from the title race. I still think City might play a role in this title race. The reason why I'm saying this, if there is any manager that will change his tactics to actually suit the players, it's Pep Guardiola. He did that before in the triple season. He did that before when he beat Arsenal for the league title in the second half of the season.
He never
He
gave
tweaks,
up
yes.
possession.
He doesn't
He never
change
gave
the
up
way.
possession.
Yeah, but he did yesterday, which is kind
That's
of
what.
strange. to be
That's the
honest.
mad thing. We all
Having
came out
45,
going, wow.
having 45% at the Etihad is
At the end of the
unprecedented.
day, I saw Jeremy Doku had no time to think. So everything was instinctive on Jeremy Doku. And he looked 10 times the better player he's ever been. I'm like, you're not even thinking about this. You've not got 10 minutes. You're just going quick. Haaland. You know, for some reason, he took Lenny Yoro off and brought Maguire on and thought, oh, this is going to make a difference. Haaland sat him down and said, see you later, mate, and left him. He stood, he was even in his own half and Maguire wasn't catching up. And
Can I
then
ask a
you've got
question to everyone?
Donnarumma.
Yeah, Donnarumma was great in
hello.
his saves.
The guy just brings 100 times more confidence. I've got a keeper that'll cross. I've got a keeper that'll punch. I've got a keeper who'll actually, did you see him, Bremo, when he goes through 1-on-1? I'm 5 yards behind it. 5 yards in the stadium behind it. That's how close I am to the pitch side. And Bremo looked at Donnarumma and went, no thanks, I'll kick the ball and stand. Shit
Can I ask,
himself.
are City and Chelsea in the third place race? Who's ahead? Joe, could you take that one, please?
Yeah, of course I can. It's a little bit of recency bias because I thought City were quality yesterday. And Foden looked great, Doku looked great. So there's a little bit of recency bias potentially, but I would go with City right now. But again, you know, they might play next week anyway. Who've they got? Is it Arsenal?
Arsenal at the Emirates.
That's a big test.
By the
then,
way,
innit?
if City lose, that's the worst start in Pep's history.
There you go. So that's what I'm saying. Because they started well against Wolves, and then I was like, oh, here we go. And then obviously have not been great since then. So there probably is a little bit of recency bias, but I still think because it's City, because it's Pep, they're ahead of Chelsea, yeah, for sure. Is that wrong to say, Dan, do you reckon?
Nah, I don't think so at all, mate. I think they're just a much better rounded outfit. And I think Martin's point does ring true that when everyone's fit and available, they have got an unbelievable squad. I don't disagree. There are injuries in that team that are hurting City right now. I think there is a change as well. I think people, as much as Pep obviously is going to get scrutinised for it, I think there is a change ongoing. I remember sitting here with Nobbins at this sort of stage last season and said, when's the change going to happen? And January sort of triggered it, I think, with a couple of incomings and different type of profiles to what City would normally sign, especially under Pep. And I think Martin obviously saying with the difference that Donnarumma's making, it's a completely different style of keeper to what you've had in Ederson. I think City are going through a little bit of a transition at the moment. I think they're signing completely different players to what they would have. And I don't know whether Pep will be here to see them through that in the long run, but I think he's going to be part of the transition happening and keeping the values and the core values installed in that City side. But I think they're ahead of Chelsea for sure. I think if you look at that team throughout, quality-wise and experience, there aren't many areas that Chelsea even get close to City, are there?
In the midfield, I think Chelsea get close to City.
Maybe
in the midfield.
Maybe the midfield. That's it. Though.
Fullbacks, I think Korea, Reece James. No,
Reece
but
James has
played all
started,
right yesterday.
Reece James has started one game this season, by the way.
which is
one game.
it's something I don't understand. Maybe he's
And
saving for the
Maresca
Champions League.
plays him
Why is no one
almost
sad
in the
about us
midfield role.
Beckenbauer?
Cuz
Uh,
Beckenbauer, did you call
Why
him?
is no one sad
goalkeeper-
about us Beckenbauer?
Cuz
for me-
Beckenbauer.
For me,
he's amazing. Kushnerov is
Forward-
like the find of the defenders at the minute.
Yeah,
you know,
it was good
forward wise, I don't think Chelsea are close to City. The reason why, once you get service to Haaland,
Yeah,
you're
like-
guaranteed a goal or two in the game.
Yeah.
I saw Chelsea struggle a little bit attacking wise without Cole Palmer if he's taken out of the game. I think Reinders is going to become very good for City. If
100%.
Foden continues like this, we're in for a good season for Phil Foden. I hope he stays fit and just have a good season.
But he's finished.
Where
I
was he?
I always give him stick me because listen, he is helped.
Joe,
to-
he even said that in his interview yesterday. He said, I'm expecting it because I won player of the season.
good.
Like
good,
he
good.
said, I am expecting the media to talk about where am I? Because
Well, wasn't the
when you
media?
win,
That's the dig's not at the media.
what is he
He's on
talking? Is he
coming
taking a
on
dig at
campaign.
me because I'm running shows
No.
against Foden?
No. A lot of City fans have given up on Foden.
Oh, really?
Do you not think he just looks a bit more well and a bit more himself already this season? Like I think just
It's the
looking at
haircut. The haircut looks
maybe
so
look,
more
maybe it is
handsome.
the haircut, right?
Looks
But
so
I
more
don't know. I
handsome.
looked at him after that Euros, and I just don't think he looked the same. And all right, the haircut is obviously a literal difference, but I just don't think he ever really looked himself last season. I don't know. I don't know what if Martin knows.
He
There
was
was-
injured. I think he was injured and he had personal issues. That's what
Yeah,
Martin
right.
said.
There was Pep's talked about it about him smiling and being happy.
Yeah.
And
He
People-
started
That
the
makes
game
such a huge
smiling,
difference,
by the
doesn't
way.
it, someone like
He
Foden?
started the game smiling yesterday, which is astonishing to me, to be honest. Let me do these two super chats and then we just. Thank you, Faraz. So, Martin, will City get something next week against Arsenal? Yes or no question, Martin?
that's why I said game by game at the minute.
If they lose, they will be 9 points behind Liverpool in 5 games. That's assuming that Liverpool will win next game. Can you win the league from there?
We have done before, but I don't think with this team right now. People got to realise we're not. I've had this debate with City fans. We're not that team of 5, 6, 7 years ago. We don't have world class players all over the gaff anymore. We had 3 years where we bought Paula after the treble. We sort of rested on our laurels a little bit. We trusted the players who got us to the treble, which, right or it's wrong. Some people say it is, some people say it isn't. But the simple fact is, we sold too many first team players and brought too many squad players in. And now we're paying for that down the line. I mean, for Christ's sake, we still got Calvin Phillips in the sodding building on 150 grand a week.
He's in the Champions
So
League
what the hell am I
squad.
supposed to do? I'm sat here going, okay then. And as much as, yes, I love the EDS with Oscar Bob and Rico Lewis, they're not ready to go and challenge in certain areas. They're all right for, the less profile games, but they're not ready to go to Arsenal away or to Liverpool away or things like that. They can play United at home and United away because, like I said, I'm talking about the big teams there. But, sorry, little dig.
City guys showing up after a big win. Martin was here when they lost to Spurs.
I'm here when we win, lose, or draw. I was on the show when the
He was on this
60 miles.
particular stream, I remember, after Spurs lost. Am I wrong, guys?
I was
we
on the
had
Sam
this-
last week when we got beat at Brighton. What we doing here?
Yeah. Last part is Arsenal. What do you guys make of Arsenal this season, to be honest?
Yeah, I've been relatively happy with the last performance in general. I think we did start a little bit
Relatively
slow. Yeah. No, I think we've been relatively slow in terms of obviously creating chances from open play in the first couple of games. Obviously, again, it's dictated with obviously the fixtures that we had away at Man United and away obviously Liverpool are two of the hardest obviously away grounds on paper to go to. But I do feel like we potentially could have obviously created a few more chances in both of those games. But I think Nottingham Forest was a positive start in the right direction in terms of having a bit more fluidity, a bit more creativity. Obviously, having dribblers that are willing to take on their man, like the likes of Eze and obviously Madueke, is definitely a help, especially obviously when you guys were talking about breaking down low blocks before. When you've got guys that can drop a shoulder and beat a man, that obviously makes it much more easy to create chances from open play. And I feel like we've seen that obviously in the Nottingham Forest game, that we looked a bit more fluid, a bit more kind of energetic when it comes to kind of getting into the box and trying to even service Gyökeres. That was kind of the first kind of opportunity, I think, since Gyökeres has been at Arsenal that he's actually got on a plate, which was from Eze. But obviously it was quick passing from Calafiori into the path of Eze in a one-touch pass. I think if that's Martinelli, he takes a touch, he tries to drive into the box, he might win a corner. But with Eze, I think it's more instinctive in terms of trying to find the striker straight away. You've seen obviously his link-up play with Mateta at Crystal Palace. He knows how to kind of link up with strikers quite well. So that was obviously a positive as well. And I think defensively as well, obviously, I think that's obviously Arsenal's strongest point anyway. But I think this season we've kind of carried on the kind of defensive structure and form that we had in previous seasons. Only conceded one goal, which is obviously the free kick from Szoboszlai. So yeah, I think if we can try and get the balance correct in terms of attack and defense, which again in the Nottingham Forest is more close to what we kind of want as Arsenal fans in terms of being solid at the back and obviously creating a few chances, I think we could have a good season, man. But again, I think it all kind of falls down really on the manager. I think a lot of Arsenal fans are pretty happy with the squad now in terms of getting the striker in, getting more attacking plays to help Saka when he's injured. But yeah, it's just whether the manager is going to pick the right team and tactically as well in terms of these big games. Is he going to be a bit more braver in certain elements to try and get the 3 points? Because again, we had a lot of draws last season. I think we need to kind of halve those kind of draws definitely from last season into this season to make sure we can catch Liverpool, be in rounds with Liverpool and Manchester City if they're there. So, but yeah, overall, I think it's been a good start. If we can try and get a big win against City next weekend, I think getting 4 wins out of 5 with the start we've had, having played Man United, Liverpool and Man City, I think that would be a good start, to be honest, man. But
did Chelsea make a mistake selling you Madueke? Does anybody think after the performance? Because that's the narrative that is running now.
Maybe if they believe that Gittins will be of a similar level.
Well, it's looking spooky right now, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because he performed pretty well, Madueke, to be honest.
I think Madueke actually complements that Arsenal team, doesn't it? I think a lot of the players in that Arsenal team are not necessarily as direct as Madueke. And I think Madueke is aggressive in how direct he is. And I think actually in a team that doesn't have that, I think it actually works pretty well because he's a little bit of an anomaly. And they spoke about it a little bit with Eze obviously being a completely different side and type of player in that sense. They can both go past the player, but they do it in different ways. And I think it'll really complement them. I just think with Madueke, I think Chelsea probably viewed it that he only scored in 4 games for us last season in the league. And they probably just felt that it was time to move him on. It doesn't mean that he won't work out at Arsenal, even though history suggests that other players haven't, as from Chelsea. I think he'll be all right, to be honest with you. I think his ceiling, by the way, is so high. I've always said that. He's such a talented player. It's just whether or not he can deliver on his talent.
Yeah, and I think as well, Dan, like he's positioning obviously in our squad. Obviously, again, everyone knows Saka's like the first team player. I think that will obviously leave a little bit of pressure from him. I think at Chelsea, there's a bit more kind of an expectation that he's going to obviously be kind of the main guy, pretty more so than obviously with Arsenal. I think even obviously at Arsenal, if he has a couple of games where he's not at his best, you can kind of take him out, put Saka in, put someone else in, and then he can kind of build his confidence back up into the side. So yeah, I think Madueke's made a good start. Again, kind of the criticism obviously Chelsea fans had, and maybe some Arsenal fans when we bought him, is can he obviously contribute with some G&A? Can he get some goals? Can he get some assists to go with obviously his overall performance? As soon as he starts to do that, that's when a lot of obviously Arsenal fans and maybe fans in general will start to think, okay, this guy can be the real deal, man. But again, 23, he's made a good start. Hopefully he can continue it. But again, I agree. I think that aggressiveness is something that we've kind of lacked at Arsenal for a long time. Probably the last kind of aggressive kind of winger I think I can remember is probably like Alexis Sanchez, maybe on the left-hand side, who was kind of very direct, can take on his fullback left and right. Apart from that, man, we've kind of had kind of similar wingers that kind of cut onto their left foot, whether it's like a Pepe or obviously Saka is kind of similar, kind of that kind of rigid kind of 4-4 kind of 1-2 kind of thing. So yeah, I think for me, Madueke's made a good start and hopefully he can continue it. And especially the biggest compliment I can make to him is that obviously that game, we didn't miss Saka at all. Like that's probably one of the games maybe last season, we kind of looking at Saka to kind of produce.
So Saka should earn his way back into the team when he comes back.
Hey, listen, this is what it's all about, man. If
I'm
Madueke's-
joking, of course, because this is the narrative that the agenda's running.
No, I
now.
think you're right, Mo. Actually,
Yeah,
You've got to have
I
competition
was
places, haven't
joking.
you?
I was
Like,
joking.
Arsenal
No, I think
suffered
you're
last
right.
season when they had injuries, like the man said earlier. You've got to have a squad that's capable of dealing with injuries. When Saka's injured, it doesn't make a difference, it seems, at least at this stage of the season. So it's about, I think it's not necessarily whether he's going to take Saka's place. It's about the fact they've got two options that are good enough. Because otherwise, if you rely on Saka or you rely on Declan Rice, and you see you've got Zubimendi stepping up as well, you got to have competition for places, but also it's about depth, isn't it? Because I think that a lot of people looking at Champions League, that those games are going to kick in. It's an extra 10, 12 games, like as a minimum, if you go for the knockout stage, which is a lot of games for every team to try and get through. So I think Liverpool, we're talking about earlier in the stream, they're not necessarily improved their first team massively, but I think if they have a few injuries, they're not going to notice it this season, and that might be the difference.
Who? Arsenal or Liverpool?
Liverpool and Arsenal.
Liverpool have improved
their squad.
Liverpool have improved their starting 11 by 50%.
I think Arsenal have, by the way. I actually think Arsenal have.
Genuinely, I think Zubimendi is better than Thomas Partey. I think Eze is better than everything they have on the left side. I think having Gyokeres up there is an improvement. We saw it, right?
I think Gyokeres on his own might be 50% improvement.
Calafiori himself, by the way, I like Miles Kelly. Calafiori, the way he moves with the ball, the way he goes forward is a revelation for Arsenal. I know that Miles Kelly is great, and I love Miles Kelly. I think he's a great talent. But the way Calafiori moves up and the IQ he has is a massive improvement on that left. Arsenal have improved. Starting 11, massively.
By the way, people aren't taking too kindly to what was said about Saka. Saka probably...
Yeah, I don't think so, by the way.
Yeah, Saka obviously will probably walk back into the team, but I think the important thing here is that was almost a given. Now, actually, that level of competition will only up and benefit Arsenal more. Like you can't allow that mindset to creep into any player if you want to go and win a league. You have to have that competition throughout the squad. And I think Saka will look at players like Eze, look at players like Madueke and think, right, these are players now that obviously I don't think Eze side-wise will ever really affect.
So you want Arsenal to create the Man City thing, which is there is no place guarantee.
Liverpool are doing it now. Manchester City have done it for years. You have to create that level. You can't have anyone in the team that doesn't have competition because it creates... It can create complacency, and that is that then doesn't give you the mindset. If every single game Saka looks over to the bench and sees a hungry Madueke wanting to come on, he's going to be direct. He knows what he's about. He's going to run at players.
He's going to push him. Yeah, he's going
to think, I have to score today. If not, Madueke will come on. Last season, seasons before, he knew that if he didn't score, he wasn't getting dragged. And I think it's so important that competition is there. It has to be.
Yeah, I like this mentality, to be honest. Yeah. I like it.
It's what Arsenal haven't had, and this is what I think we were trying to say to Arsenal fans last season, but it just gets rebutted so many times. But it's so important. And I think Arsenal, I actually said it in the summer, Arsenal have done such a good job, and that was before they'd even bought in a number of other players, but it looked like Gyokeres was done. But you've then gone and bought in like Maresca, you've gone and bought in a number of players around the squad that sort of up that competition level and durability, like you were saying about injuries as well. It'll make such a difference. It'll make such a difference for Arsenal to have that squad depth and that level of competition throughout their squad. I really do.
You genuinely believe that Arsenal can win the league this season?
Yes. It is only, for me, it is only down to Arteta if they don't win the league this season. I genuinely believe that, by the way.
Not down to Liverpool being much stronger than them?
No, because I don't think they are. I think Liverpool, I actually don't think are better.
Because Isak, Wirtz, Ekitike, Salah,
okay,
all of this.
Yes, I agree with you. But I think this Arsenal squad, I actually think is underrated. I think this Arsenal squad, and it's definitely 11. It's starting 11. I think it's really good. I really do. All right, there's an Isak in there for Liverpool, and there's that all that money that's been spent on a couple of players in Liverpool, which sort of maybe swings it back into their favour a little bit. But I just think this Arsenal squad has got so close without these additions that with these additions now, I genuinely think it's such a good side. I really do. It pains me a lot to say that, but I look at this team, it's got physicality across the team in terms of, we know how dangerous they are from set pieces, but they're a big squad. They're intimidated. You wouldn't want to play against this Arsenal team. They've got runners now. They've got pace. They've got dictators. They've got players scoring all over the pitch. They've got players that will step up in moments. The one thing I don't think they have.
The goals. Their defense is the best in the Premier League at the moment.
Yeah, exactly. And
Like,
they've even
on the basis,
had
if they're not playing
players.
well, they're not conceding goals. They're not putting themselves in positions where they're chasing games. They're just very difficult to score against. And as a basis of platform, they've added quality where they lacked quality. They're probably one of the teams that have actually addressed their weaknesses better in the transfer window than a few other teams near the top of the league.
Definitely,
I think Chelsea
I
maybe
think them
got
and
like
Liverpool are miles
almost.
above every other team in that sense.
Yeah.
Tony here is saying, I hope he doesn't get to walk right in. It means Noni is performing and he has to earn it back. He has earned his stripes at right wing, but still earn it back just because of one game.
By the way, no, it's not though, is it? Because he's had quite a good start.
And good start. Just last game he was great. Before that he was okay.
I just think this season solely it will be on Arteta if Arsenal probably don't win the league.
I agree.
Imagine a world, right, where Arsenal win the league, Madueke's got, double digits, and you just think the vitriol around them signing that player and they go and win the league.
Oh, imagine.
It'd be quite sweet. There'd be many receipts.
Imagine he scored the winner to win them the league. Imagine that.
Yeah, that would be crazy.
Yeah, but
Arsenal
funny like that, Joe, isn't it?
though, aren't they? I think you'd
Oh,
be
yeah,
saying-
without a shadow of a doubt.
Yeah.
But I believe that Liverpool have apart from the two centre backs, Liverpool have the quality and the
Best
backline,
11.
the quality. Not
Yeah,
only.
best 11.
Do you
In the
think
middle,
Arsenal are
in the
now set up
midfield.
to address every situation they face? Because last
Yes,
year, I think
100%.
that was the question mark, wasn't it? Is that we would say, Arsenal probably aren't going to win this game because they don't have a Gyökeres. Now they've got a Gyökeres.
And they have
players
Havertz.
Yeah,
who can play different games.
right? Or they had Martinelli, but now they've got an Eze and a Madueke to bring on. And I just think
100%.
if Odegaard can't unlock the team and everyone's focused on, just doubling up on Saka.
It's Madueke, Saka, Gyökeres.
Rory said it so many times, there wouldn't be enough of a threat on the left-hand side. But now, obviously, they've got to worry about an Eze, which takes away the double up on Saka. So when Saka comes back into the team, and then if Saka's tired and the defenders having an easy ride, they can bring on Madueke. They can rotate Saka out. I just think they have really built a top squad for everything, for injuries, 100%. Tactical setup, durability, quality, size, in terms of intimidation. I think they've got a really good team.
Last two super chats. Saka had carried Arsenal for 3 years. He is him. Big up. We'll see if he can. I think if Arsenal win the league this season, Saka might win Player of the Year. I genuinely believe that. It is not because of one game. I literally said it means Noni is performing as in future games. If he's not performing, he goes on the bench more. Okay, Tony, I hear you now. I hear what you're saying. That you mean if he plays in the future games well, Saka he has to earn his way back. I appreciate it. Listen, people, I want to thank everyone that joined us. Just a Joe Football Show. What do you got coming up?
Just talking about the game. Saturday's
don't
game.
Be stressed. Don't scratch your head. It's okay. It's all right.
It's all right. Yeah, talking about the game, the loss.
Yeah. Rich,
we need to score, man. We need to score.
That was outrageous, wasn't it, mate? You got unlucky with that one, didn't you? The week.
So unlucky, but still,
I've never seen one like that.
I don't know. Honestly, I'm just going to try to stop talking about Amorim because I think it's making people angry. But I don't know. What are we looking forward to our Chelsea game because we've got nothing midweek, unfortunately.
They're saying that he's still got full backing, right? Are you on board with that?
Wait, what?
That's what they say, though, isn't it?
We can't need to speak about United.
I need to end the show. I'm sorry. I actually planned an hour and a half.
What's this thing with changing centre backs? By the way, why?
Have you noticed Joe's come alive now?
I can leave you live, guys. I can leave you live, and then I need to go to the chat. We had a deep conversation. We had a deep conversation about money.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. Take off Yara for Maguire, but come on, it's ridiculous, isn't it? It's the same as starting Luke Shaw. It's the same as playing Bruno deep. Come on, like there's so many mistakes I could talk about 5 hours, but it just make me
You
angry.
know, I've never
like,
laughed in
from
a
the comments.
football game. Yesterday, I laughed when that sub happened because we were like, anything.
And then Maguire made the mistake to step out like 10 yards ahead of the halfway line to just leave Haaland
I think that's the
outside.
thing where the three players were in a line, weren't they? Like the wrong line. They were in front of each other. I don't know. It became like
I think that is
farcical,
one of the
but, like,
most comical goals I've seen in my life. That third
do you
goal
remember,
for
do you remember
Haaland.
that Istanbul goal where who's the guy that ex-Chelsea player scored and
Hakim
they ran
Ziyech.
from the halfway
Hakim
line?
Ziyech.
No, it was about 3 years ago, maybe 4 years ago. Ollie was in charge. We attacked from a corner. They broke from like the halfway line. There was literally no one in our half, and they ran through and opposed and scored. It was like that. I was just thinking, this is ridiculous. It became like a semi-professional performance towards the end. And I know, no, like, you can't really say too much about City because we're so bad. But no, I think Haaland was like, he could have got more goals, couldn't he? Let's be honest, it could have been 5-0.
He should have had the
yeah.
hat trick with that
It
one that
literally
he
could have been
dribbled every.
I think that's
like,
why I was
should have
annoyed because it was 3-0, but the scoreline didn't reflect the game.
I didn't
Like, it
like
was
the
that-
3-0. I wanted it to even be a 1-0 or like 5. I like really. I'm like,
You know what was so bad about it as well is that Pep literally knew that Manchester United would make mistakes without doing anything. He literally, like Martin said, they set traps, waited for them to play the ball literally into the path of Manchester City players. Like he knew that United would be that poor. It's kind of crazy. I think Amorim's got to go. I think it's
Just before
He's
you
gonna
go, I've got a question. How's my boy doing it?
I need to go.
How's my boy doing at your place? Are you looking after him?
Say that again.
Are you looking after
Akanji,
him, Manny?
he looked shit in the first game. Average, there for a payday.
There we go.
Anyway, guys, thank you everyone for watching us. Appreciate you guys. All the guys' channels in the description as well. I will see you guys later today. But now we're gonna go to MHF with Hussam and TKA, Ryan, and Charlie as well. We're gonna have a great show there. I will see you back here at 7 as well. I'll see you guys soon. We're out of here, people.